a training session, and Riyad was one-on-one against the left back at the time. I won't mention his name. And he was doing the usual step overs, and he's megged the defender and gone past him, and everyone just stopped training and has gone, ooh.
Undala, can he find an opening? Still Undala. That is absolutely magnificent. Mahrez up against Bruyne. Can he get beyond Bruyne? Plays it in field to Bruyne. Haaland, 1-0.
Pass to Bunny Shaw, and an even better pass from Hal. That's a beautiful goal.
For both these clubs. PSG looking for an opening here for City. Tarnat. Macken, he's won it! He's won the tie here for Manchester City. That has to go down as one of the great FA Cup ties in the history of the competition. To Rodri. Rodri scoops it forward. Mahrez.
I won the passion from Julian. I won the passion from Rico. I won the passion from Nathan. I won this every ball happen.
Harry Kane, we know he's going to drop deep. We know how great his passing is from deep. We also know how lethal he is.
You see how dangerous they are here. They can score goals. Another fascinating game. I think the stadium as well, sensational. It doesn't get any better if any of the supporters have not been. That is unbelievable stadium. What a place to play football.
We've played him enough times. I think Pep will look and have a plan for Harry Kane and Son.
Paul, we haven't scored at the new stadium yet, which is an interesting stat. Does that matter for a forward player, or is it a record you want to break and we want to be the first one?
Erling Haaland's not played at the new stadium yet, so I'm pretty sure we'll score.
Plays it to Rodri. Rodri scoops it forward. Mahrez. Haaland! Can you believe it?
I'm Erling Haaland. You're watching Matchday Live.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live today. It is a very special day today as we'll be bringing you all of the news ahead of kickoff. And we start off by saying a big happy birthday to our former manager Sven-Göran Eriksson and to club legend Carlos Tevez. It is his 38th birthday today. A happy birthday to both of them. As you can see, City have arrived. We've travelled down the M1 to a ground where, well, we've not scored yet, but hopefully we will be changing that today as Pep will have packed plenty of firepower into the team as we look to end that drought. We will have for you our starting 11 the second we are allowed to give it to you. This is the first place to get your team news. A very big welcome to Matchday Live today. Thank you so much for joining us ahead of our 4:30 kickoff against Spurs in the Premier League. And today we are joined by, quite frankly, what would have been an incredible defensive pairing. I would love to have seen these two playing together. Both played for City, both played for England. Of course, we've got Joleon Lescott back as well. Welcome, Joleon.
Nice to be here.
And for the first time, very excited as she makes her Matchday Live debut, we've got Steph Houghton. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for coming. It's so lovely to have you here.
Oh, no, been wanting to do it for a while, so finally we got a Sunday off, so I was like, right, OK, let's get it sorted and let's do the Tottenham Man City game.
So a day off and you've come here to join us, like...
Oh, yeah, I mean, couldn't have wanted anything better for Joleon and you, so yeah.
No such thing as a day off in football anyway.
No, there isn't actually. No? You're either watching it or you're training, so...
Well, today we get you to hear all about what you think of the City team and get your thoughts ahead of the game as well. And we'll get the team news now and then we'll get both your thoughts immediately because I can give you the starting 11 for today's team. So here we go. The first place to get your team news. Your City starting 11 for today. And it is Edison. And then you have Lewis, Kyle Walker, who is captain today, Akanji, Ake, Rodri, Silva, Mahrez, Grealish, Alvarez, and of course Erling Haaland. Now on your subs bench for today, it is Ortega, Diaz, Phillips, Gundogan, Laporte, Kevin De Bruyne, Gomez, a debut there on the bench for Maximo Perrone, and Cole Palmer. So that is your City team, your starting 11 and your subs bench for today's game. Now, luckily here, we have, of course, two of England's finest defenders, so we can get straight into looking at that defence, because my immediate first question to you, Joleon, who's playing where?
Do I actually know? No, I don't, but I'm going to take an educated guess. I'm going to say... Walker, centre-half with Akanji. I just think Nathan Ake's been playing so well at left-back. I think the game against Arsenal, disregarding the goal even, it was like his performance against Saka was unreal. So, and even against Spurs, I know we were 2-0 down at half-time, but I thought he was unreal, to be fair, in that game. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's at full-back.
Yeah, Nathan Ake's having just such an incredible season, Steph. He's become, for me, one of the first names on the team sheet. He's just been so unbelievably reliable.
Yeah, I think especially in them 1v1 situations as a left-back, he probably would say to himself he would probably prefer to play centre-back, but playing left-back, and especially against Saka in Arsenal in the FA Cup, he was so good at just forcing him outside. And I think even in attack as well, obviously he scored the goal, which was a great finish, and obviously defenders are not known for the finishes, but I think that calm, cool head which he's shown over the last few games, that's why he's been probably one of City's standout players.
And Pep's commented about him as a person as well, Joleon, how he's kept his head down, how he's continued to work hard, because he wasn't a starter. He hasn't been a starter until this season. What does that say about him, about his character? Yeah,
I think he's always come across as a level-headed person that got carried away with the highs or with the lows. But in regards to his performances this season, they've been outstanding, as consistent as anyone in multiple positions. And yeah, like Steph said, he looks like he enjoys defending, which is not common for defenders now. I think he enjoys the fact, or doesn't want the ball to go past him, which is a key thing for defending. I think there's so many defenders now that don't want to get beat like no one does, but are okay with a pass or a shot or a cross going past them, where you can see him like put his body on the line to prevent the ball from going past him.
So we're going to. Are you going to stick with that, Steph? Do you think Ake will be a left back?
My only thing is, I mean, it's so hard. We're like, what formation is he going to play? And I think for me, Walker's strength is obviously his pace, and with Son playing for Tottenham, I think that could be something to nullify him, and whether Lewis maybe goes left back. But I think, you know, with Pep, you know that he always comes up with something special against these types of teams. So my guess is as good as anybody else's in this room.
It could be a three. It could equally be a three of Walker, Akanji and Ake, and then when we're in possession with Rico Lewis going in midfield with Rodri. So, listen, I don't think it'll be a set formation in and out of possession. I think they will see two.
Can Rico Lewis, from what you know of him, what you've seen of him, can he play right back? Can he play centre back?
Centre back, I don't know. Again, you're asking a lot for him to play centre half against someone like Harry Kane. It's going to be a difficult job if he plays right back against Son. But in regards to what he can do, there's not much he can't. To be honest, he's played so well and he's fitted in seamlessly. But we've got to understand this is a player that's only ever played this way. So he understands it probably better than anyone, because throughout his academy career, he's played in a formation. They've been dominant in possession, and the pitches he receives the ball and the places he receives it, he's comfortable doing that because he's only ever played in them roles.
Did you watch you were at the Spurs game? I saw you, the game a couple of weeks ago. Just as a fan, I was getting frustrated about the amount of we're seeing their tackles, or I'm going to call them fouls.
Well, they are fouls. If the ref's giving them, yeah, they are giving them. But again, that's part of it. That's probably something new for him, because I can't imagine it being that rough and ready in the academy. It's all kind of nice to a certain extent, but when you get into the seniors team, the first team, it's different. Like that, it's not accidental. That Heiberg's running over you, and you just have to get up and get on with it.
Pep made a comment after the game, Steph, that he'd wanted his players to have given him a bit more protection. What does that mean? Like, what do you think he wanted to see?
I think it's quite interesting when you have a young player coming into a team, and I think as older, experienced players that have known the league for a number of years, I think it's obviously when the first foul happens, you're like, OK, like let's see how he reacts as a player. But I think like, as leaders and experienced players, I think once you know that he's kind of been targeted, because obviously people know what he's been doing for City over the last few games, which is adding that next extra number into midfield and creating more attacking opportunities. So I think Tottenham have obviously said, OK, we need to kind of nullify this problem. And that's what they've done by being aggressive. And obviously, we said fouls, but they are fouls, with the fouls on the halfway line, which obviously stopped City's rhythm. So I think as all the players, just about trying to maybe give a little bit back, and obviously just maybe going up to the referee and having a little bit of a word.
In terms of the other points of the defence, Joleon, we've got Aymeric Laporte and Ruben Diaz on the bench today. Both of them back, both of them fit as far as we know. I mean, we've talked about how good a season Nathan Ake is having. Why do you think if Walker's playing centre back, why?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Again, that's probably the element that's probably making me think it could be about 3, because I think he wants to potentially have Walker in there to cover, because we've had trouble. Let's face it, we've had trouble at Spurs before, and it normally comes from Son running inside and no one able to recover due to pace. But listen, we can never question. Here's what I found. There we go.
So Siri might be able to
knows. Siri knows. Yeah, Siri's got the answers. But in regards to why Pep's done it, who knows? Because he rotates so much, and he has a theory of why this group of players will win this game.
How are we playing, Steph, in your opinion, defensively different to we have done in previous seasons? And I mean in terms of, obviously we know the Cancelo situation now, where we had been playing the full-backs so much further up. In terms of Laporte and Diaz being on the bench and Akanji and Ake being sort of a different type of player, perhaps, would you say perhaps better with the ball? Or what is the defensive differences this season?
I think for me as well, I think we haven't really had that much of a settled team, which as previously maybe, that Diaz and Stones were always going to play, and you always had Walker, you always had Cancelo, so knowing what each other does as well. And I think adding that extra number into midfield, sometimes when we're attacking, it does probably leave you a little bit exposed at the back, and I feel as though sometimes we haven't really got that balance yet in terms of that transition. But I think over the last few games, potentially we've seen a little bit better in terms of keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal was absolutely massive in terms of probably confidence and mentality, especially with the big game coming up and playing against the likes of Tottenham. And I think, for me, it's just there's a lot of new players coming into the squad as well that are getting to know what Pep wants, and just to try and hopefully keep as many clean sheets as we possibly can.
Do we need to change the way we play just for the players, or just to keep evolving with the Premier League in general?
Both. I don't think there's any one reason why you don't want to change. Like, again, it may be changing because it's Spurs and we've conceded goals and not scored that many against them at their stadium. So in regards to the selection, it's like the way we're susceptible to chances is counter-attacks most often than not, and these are probably the best at it in transition, like Son. Kane's so reliable in possession and he can find runners. And if you think about Ake, Walker and Akanji, in greatest respect to the players on the bench, they're probably the most athletic to get back and recover, because that's what's going to need to be done if we can see chances. We're not going to be outplayed by Spurs in regard to dominating in our final third. It's going to be like halfway line, 3-4 passes, they're through on goal. So who can recover fastest, really?
Now, if you would like to ask our guests any questions, you can do that on WhatsApp. So get them in. As always, I'll get through as many as I can. I love your questions. You always ask really unusual things. So you can see the number on your screen now. Ask them about the defence, ask them about their careers, ask them about anything you would like. We'll get through as many questions as we possibly can. So we've had a look at the City starting 11. Let's have a look now at the Spurs starting 11. So the Spurs team for today's game, and that is Lloris, Royal, Romero, Dyer, Davies, Perisic, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Son and Harry Kane up front. So that is your Spurs starting 11 for today's game. We've already mentioned Son there, we've already mentioned Harry Kane. Are those the two players, Joleon, that you immediately look at in this Spurs team? Yeah, you have to. Their form against us, but also over the past, 4 or 5 years have been outstanding. So they're the players you would look at. And again, if you stop them, you're stopping a lot of their chances and the goals. But it's easier said than done. Yeah. Harry Kane, we've seen some of the incredible stats that he's breaking with goal scoring. We've heard all week about he needs one more goal to get to be the third player to reach 200 Premier League goals after Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney. I mean, just how good of a player is he, Steph?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I think in terms of a striker and what a striker can bring, he brings everything. I think his passing, his range of passing, his movement, his finishing, and I think in overall a great team player, really sets the tempo in terms of his pressing and his work rate. And yeah, he's going to be one to stop for sure today. I think he likes to drop deep. He likes to kind of link up with Son and Kulusevski, and every time I've watched him playing, he just has something different every single game.
Oh yeah, what impresses me the most is his conversion rate. He doesn't waste chances. He never go for games where you're thinking, oh, he's had 4 or 5 chances there and he hasn't scored. He may not get chances due to the way they're playing or the opposition, but if he gets chances, they tend to go in more often than not, and that's kind of the most difficult thing, is to have the high percentage of conversion rate he's got, which is stupid in my opinion.
Yeah.
He needs one more goal to become Spurs' leading goal scorer of all time. So he can do that in the next game.
Oh yeah, he's going to do it at some point, but it's not today, hopefully. But yeah, again, it doesn't surprise you when he scores. It's the level of player he is. It surprises you when he doesn't score, which is a unique talent to have, because everyone says that's the hardest thing to do, and the amount of goals he's scored, again, is remarkable.
And talking about Son as well, last season for me, Steph, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. He was phenomenal. He's not been performing to that high level that he set himself again this season, but he did score twice in Spurs' FA Cup victory over Preston. You've already mentioned him, but how high do you rate him? Yeah, really highly. I think to produce what he produced last season was unbelievable, and to become top scorer and his assists as well, and that partnership with him and Harry Kane is something special, and you can see that. And this season he's not fired as much as probably as we expect, but that's what's the difference between the very, very best players and players like Son. It's like, can you do it consistently? And I think maybe the way that Conte sets up this team maybe doesn't really benefit him as much as it has last season, and Tottenham have struggled a little bit, but I mean, for one, we need to make sure that we kind of keep an eye on him and stop him scoring. He likes to kind of score against City as well. Yeah, definitely. Mentioning Conte there as well, we know that he's not going to be on the game today because he's had an operation this week, been poorly this week. How much does that affect a team, Joleon, when the manager isn't there?
Well, we've seen it a few years ago with Pep and Mikel, and it's just a different feel. I would relate it to the substitute teacher when coming into school. Like, you just maybe give players a little bit more freedom, because we've seen in the past, in recent weeks, that they are quite restricted in possession. So we'll be watching, but in regards to play with a bit more freedom, because he's not going to be there to address it straight away, it may give players a little bit more licence to do something different. But on a whole, they would want him there. They would need him there, because he manages and coaches from the sideline with so much passion, so demanding. So he's going to be a miss for them today.
In terms of new signings for Spurs, they brought Danjuma in recently. How do you make that signing?
Talent, very talented, travels well with the ball, runs off the ball pretty well. So he's an exciting player for them to sign, and someone that freshens it up. I don't know if Lucas Moura is still there, but I know he was talked about going. So in regards to the fit, it's quite similar in regards to what he can bring to the Spurs lineup. But you don't see him playing every week, because the wide men for Spurs are dominant and pick themselves, but he can definitely freshen it up if he comes off the bench. Yeah, so Danjuma on the bench, Richarlison on the bench as well. I always thought that was a strange signing in the summer, because they had such great firepower up top anyway. What do you make of Richarlison at Spurs?
I think as a player and as a personality, I think he is very different to a lot of players that Spurs have. I think he's quite eccentric, and he likes to be kind of like the one that's either just been a nuisance and around the back four, and he had a really good World Cup. And I think for Spurs, I think they're just looking at kind of making sure that they've got players in every area who can compete, and to try and push them through, because that'll be hard to get into that team. But as a substitute, it's a very good sub to come on and just to cause City problems. Yeah,
100%, I agree. But he seems like the only player that fans like whose team he plays for. He doesn't seem like a fan's favourite from anyone else or any other teammates. He's like, you'd love him in your team, but hate to play against him because, again, being a nuisance, and even regardless of his technical ability, but also just frustrating. You'd be like Mario, say. You would say, you'd compare him to Mario, is that we loved him, but he wasn't like everyone else.
I like those players. I always like those players where you really get behind them, but no one else likes them. That's grand with me. In terms of other names on the team sheet, I'm a big fan of Kulusevski. Big fan of Kulusevski. Who else is standing out for you? We need to keep an eye on, Steph.
I was going to say Kulusevski. To be honest, I think last season, his first game at the Etihad, when Tottenham beat us, I think for me he was their best player. I think everybody. Probably Kane and Son got all the headlines, but I think for me he worked so hard off the ball and being on that right-hand side and just constantly just trying to get crosses in the box, trying to link up, and when he gets his opportunities, like Joleon mentioned about Harry Kane, he doesn't get that many, but he seems to convert all the time, and on his day he could be one of the best players in the Premier League, really.
I'm looking to see the battle of Romero and Haaland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because he plays with kind of an enthusiasm and a lack of patience at times. He always tries to nick it, which he enjoys the battle, the physical battle, and we've seen Haaland enjoy that. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because obviously we'll be hoping that Haaland wins that battle today and gets our first ever goal at this stadium.
Be nice.
Yeah, so we've heard that stat going around all week. So City have played 4 times at Spurs' new stadium and are yet to score a goal. I want to play a little game with both of you. You know, I don't know, have you heard about our games?
They are very random.
A little bit, but
we like to just spring games on our guests.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
We don't warn anymore because we don't want people not to come in. No, this is a nice one. So City haven't scored at Spurs' stadium yet. We're saying yet. So I want the two of you to just get your heads together and have a little think about the 3 Premier League stadiums where we've scored the most goals. So current Premier League teams, current stadiums.
Oh, they're all current stadiums.
Yeah, where we've scored the most goals. Have a little think together.
Oh, we're a team.
You're a team,
okay,
right? A team, Joleon.
They normally put me
a little bit.
Yeah.
I might have another game later.
Play to win. Yeah.
You can play to win together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can have a little play. Yes. So, any stadiums immediately jump to your head? So we're going to do the top 3.
And we just have to guess the stadium. There's no numbers to see. Oh, okay.
Giving you nothing, have a little brainstorm.
I would say Aston Villa.
Well, I'll give you a 4th if you want. Will that help you if I tell you what 4th was? So 4th is Goodison. We've scored 30 goals at Goodison.
Yeah.
I was going to say St Mary's, Southampton, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anything else jump into mind?
Villa were down there for a few years, weren't they? St Mary's, we'll go St Mary's.
You going St Mary's?
Were they down for a while though?
I'm trying to think.
How long were they out?
Teams that have been in long.
Yeah.
I bet it's something like really obvious, like Man United.
No way. You're not saying that.
How many goals did we score at Old Trafford when you were here?
We got there 6. That was a nice one. Okay. And the 4-3 with the defeat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Go, come on, Steph. Go with your conviction. What do you think?
I'm going to go. One of them is Man United, Old Trafford.
Okay, is one of them Old Trafford? Let's have a look. So it's number 2. We've scored 34 goals at Old Trafford. Yeah, Joleon, what are you doubting us for? 34 at Old Trafford. I'll give you an extra bonus point if you can think of the player that scored the most goals at Old Trafford for City.
That'd be Sergio.
Yeah, I was going to say Aguero.
Yeah, that would be mine. So immediately, is it Sergio? Let's have a look.
Yeah, this one's a funny one.
See what we can see.
This is a funny one because I remember I was on the bench with him and I said, go warm up. And I think he'd just come back from an injury and he hadn't really come back. He was still a bit sore. So he literally went out to warm up. And I was sitting with the physio and he didn't move. He just stood there and stretched, stretched his hamstring a little bit, stretched his thigh and stood there. The man just kept you going on. And then he went on and did that.
And he did that finish. It's a joint with Edin Dzeko as well. They both got 4 goals at Old Trafford. That was something. I saw your face there with that finish, Steph.
I was like, yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, impressive for a man that didn't really warm up. OK, so you've got 2 others. So if Old Trafford is in second at 34 goals, where have we scored the most and where is third?
Goodison was 4th.
Goodison was 4th. Yeah.
Come on, Steph, you're on a roll.
No pressure. Come on, Joleon.
I was going to say Villa Park. I don't know.
Go with that one then.
OK. What's giving you that idea?
I don't know. Villa just beat Villa a lot. I don't know if it's just most goals against Villa, but...
Do we beat Villa a lot? Let's have a look. Nice, Joleon. Third. 33 goals at Villa Park.
Back to you.
Would you like to guess who scored the most goals at Villa Park?
I could be in that. No, I'm joking. Scored most of my goals against Villa. Who scored the most? You've got to say Sergio, no?
Let's have a look. It's just a pretty solid guess, isn't it, to be honest?
Safe.
The last year.
Simple finish there from outside the box.
It was unreal.
Oh, my God.
OK, so you've got one more to get. Where have we scored the most goals in the Premier League? Current Premier League team. Been at the stadium for as long as I can remember.
Newcastle.
Yeah, might be a good shout. They went down for a few seasons though.
Yeah. Current Premier League team.
Oh, the clogs are ticking. I can see them.
Wolves.
Go on.
It could be Wolves. Scored a lot against Wolves.
Oh,
They
Wolves?
were down. They were down, so it ain't Wolves. Nat, keep that away.
Poker face. OK.
Go on.
Well, do you want a little clue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have already said the right answer.
Southampton.
St Mary's.
Is it St Mary's? No, it's St James's.
I knew
Well,
it was
you
that.
said it.
I
You
knew.
said it, Joleon.
That makes
So
me
I was
happy.
right. Steph was wrong. I'm joking. Yeah.
Right, let's have a look. Do you want to have a guess who's the top goal
Oh,
scorer?
nah.
OK, let's just have a look. Here he is again. Oh, yes. You having that finish?
All of his finishes.
Yeah.
He didn't score a bad goal
Even to get into that position,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
and then get up. He's not even up, is he? He's just... It's half up.
It looks like the
Yeah.
most relaxed finish.
Yeah. Oh.
Well done. You did. I think you did pretty decent there. You did pretty decent. So that was the Premier League goals where we've scored the most goals. And talking about scoring a lot of goals, we scored a lot of goals in the FA Cup against Sheffield United recently, Steph. Indeed, 7 goals in that game. How is it? You're back. You're fit. How is it? How is life in our women's team?
Yeah, it's good at the moment. Yeah, I think it's 18, 19 games unbeaten, which is great. And we've got a massive week coming up. We've got Arsenal in the semi-final of the Cup on Wednesday, and then we've got them in the league on Saturday at home. So I think we've sold the stadium out, which will be great. And I think for us, we've had a few disappointing results, which as a team we are disappointed, and we know that we can do better. But I think ultimately to go on that run and still be where we are in the league and competing for Champions League and potentially League is a great position to be in.
So we had the win yesterday against Leicester, 2-0.
Yeah.
Was a really dominant in possession, dominant.
Yeah. I think for me, playing at the back and being involved in the build-up, but most of the play was in and around their box, and literally we should have scored probably about 4 or 5 in the first half at least, and I think that was the only thing that we're disappointed with. It was a great win for us, and finally to see Bunny score and then to see Chloe do what she does, and the left foot, she swung that, hasn't she? Yeah, she warmed that up before, and no, but I mean, she really deserved that goal because she's been, the last few games, been really confident in getting at players and doing what she normally does, and that's good because you can't just rely on Bunny to keep scoring.
And Bunny, I mean, she's having an incredible season, top scorer in the WSL. Love seeing how she's just flourished this year.
Yeah, I think she's really worked hard at her game physically and off the pitch, and I mean, she's a nightmare to play against in training. She's just one of them strikers where if you get too tight, she's just going to roll you because she's just so strong. But she can finish both feet. She can, you just see stuff like this. She's just desperate to score, and a great ball by Chloe, and for Bunny to score, that's just her getting her confidence and just putting pressure on other people in and around the league. And for us to have her on our side is unbelievable, really.
So this is the hat-trick she got in that game, the FA Cup game against Sheffield United. We've drawn Bristol City in the FA Cup for both the men and the women.
Yeah, crazy.
Couldn't
bit weird, yeah.
How are you feeling about that draw and that game coming up?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think it's not ideal to be away and to be playing at Bristol, but I think we played them a few weeks ago and we performed really well and won. So for us, we just take each game as it comes, and we know that's a great chance. We absolutely love the FA Cup as an unbelievable trophy to win, and hopefully we can do well again in the competition.
We love a cup run, don't we? We really
do. To be honest, I think for the last 10 seasons I've been here, we've always managed to get our hands on a trophy, so hopefully it continues.
So the Conti Cup semi-final against Arsenal is on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
And then the league game against Arsenal here on Saturday. Two, I mean, like you said before, a really, really big week coming up. I mean, how are you feeling about those games? Arsenal obviously having a phenomenal season.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have always had a strong squad, and whenever we've played them, and it's always been competitive, but when we play them at home, we kind of turn into a different team. It's really weird. We always kind of perform and really just want to try and rise to the occasion. So hopefully we can do that on Saturday. And United have drew today, which gives us a great chance to kind of get some points back and try and fight for that Champions League spot. So we need to just focus firstly on Wednesday. It's a big opportunity to try and get into another final as a club, and then we get ready for Saturday with a quick turnaround.
So tight at the top of the table as well. And if we do get through in the semi-final, the final of the Conti Cup is the start of March. And we often talk about, when we talk about the men's and the women's team, about the importance of getting that first trophy. So, earlier on in the season, do you believe that is that giving us a momentum, a kick on, the positivity?
Yeah, because I think you're constantly winning games and you're constantly playing high pressure games as well. So when pressure games come towards the end of the season, the ones that really matter, you've kind of been in that situation as a player and as a team where we're used to performing and doing what we do every single game and every single training session when it comes to them games. So that would be the ideal scenario, is we hopefully get a victory on Wednesday, and then we're in a final and we got a chance to win a trophy.
Well, it's so great to see you back playing, and it's a real pleasure to see you. Best of luck for the game on Wednesday, and then on Saturday as well, which obviously was a sellout a long time ago as well. So you'll be expecting a big loud crowd.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Nice. Now, don't forget, you can get your WhatsApp questions into, or send in anything you want. Pick their brains while they are here, and we'll get through as many questions as we possibly can. If you're just joining us, a big welcome to Matchday Live. We're around about 35 minutes away from today's 4:30 kickoff against Spurs. The starting 11 is on your screen. I'll just quickly run through that with you again. So City's starting 11 is Ederson, Lewis, Walker, Akanji, Ake, Rodri, Silva, Mahrez, Grealish, Alvarez and Haaland. So that is your starting 11 today, and Kyle Walker is the captain today. So your starting 11 you can see on the screen. You'll get your commentary, the only place to get your commentary, with the wonderful Alistair Mann and Michael Brown. Michael Brown is currently pitchside with Connor Shaw. So let's hear what he had to say ahead of the game.
So, Michael, what are your initial thoughts on that starting 11 today for City?
It's always interesting, isn't it, with Pep Guardiola, what type of team, who's going to play. Notable absence for me is Kevin De Bruyne, firstly, but Alvarez at the top of the pitch with Haaland. How's Pep going to set up Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker, Akanji and Ake in that back four? Will it be a back three at times? And midfield area is going to be interesting as well.
Looking at the Spurs team, Harry Kane just one goal off reaching 200 goals in the Premier League. He's going to be eager out there today to notch that goal, isn't he?
Well, he is. It's an unbelievable record. It's in a great stadium, as we know. He'll be looking to do it ideally here, wouldn't he, in front of his home supporters. So big opportunity for him. Two wonderful strikers on the pitch, Haaland and Kane. They're all the talking points at this moment in time, right throughout the Premier League and all around the world. So he's looking to do it, he's looking to get it. Hopefully it's not today from a City point of view.
And you'll actually think as well, on another season, he might even be top scorer at this level with 16 goals already this season.
There's every chance of that, isn't there? But Erling Haaland, as we know, is unbelievable return so far, and question marks are being asked about Manchester City and Erling Haaland, how they play, how that affects City. I'll just have a hat-trick, he said. So yeah, that's great, and this is fantastic so far. The turnaround from Haaland, that's made it so difficult for Harry Kane.
3 wins in a row, could make it 4 today, could make it 3 in the Premier League. City's form of recent weeks has been good, it's picking up, and good opportunity today to get all 3 points.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I think as well is the uncertainty of how everybody was going to come back from the World Cup. Games so quickly, it's almost a mini pre-season, getting used to playing again in a club perspective. But I think not playing in the middle of the weeks has helped City get back to the training ground. Pep Guardiola getting some sort of rhythm in the squad, and finally a bit of rest time, and now getting up to speed much better in the squad, and we're going to see those rewards, and no wonder the results are picking up.
Will it be more of an interesting test, given that these teams have played each other quite recently as well, so they know quite a bit about each other?
Well, they do, and obviously this place here, this new stadium, mentioning City's goal record, which hasn't happened at this moment in time. We know that, but yeah, really interesting to say that you've only just played them. I think City were in control, and then right at the end of the half, 2 goals was a big shock all around the Etihad, but then an unbelievable second half performance from City. Never seen a reaction like it, and top performance, great recovery, and now again it's about being confident, it's about being on the front foot. The press is what's going to be interesting, and will Rico Lewis come and make that overload in the midfield area, with Spurs only having 2 in Bentancur and obviously Højbjerg. That could be where City make the difference. Almost a 4-4-2 at times, possibly, for City.
Taking a look at that midfield, then, there's going to be some battles out there today, and it'll be a good test for both sides. Like you said, Bentancur in there, really providing some battle for City midfield. Yeah,
Bentancur, we know well. Højbjerg, that engine, a bit more physicality with him, so be really interesting. But having that flat 2 certainly changes things, and that's where City, the 3-for-2 at times, whether they can get Rico Lewis in the middle of the pitch to create it with Bernardo. He's got great legs, so if you want to put somebody in a 2 to go and get that press and get in and around that Spurs midfield, it's again just watching out for that counter-attack from Spurs, which they are good with that front 3. That'll be something that Pep Guardiola and that defence will be looking at.
Well, that's the thoughts of Michael Brown here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Back to you, Natalie, Steph and Joleon in the studio.
Thank you, Connor. And Michael will, of course, be on commentary today with Alistair Mann. Get your full match commentary on the City app. Get that downloaded if you're not currently watching us on that as well. Best place to get your commentary. So they were talking there a bit about the midfield towards the end there, Steph. We talked in detail about our defence at the start of the show. If we move on now and have a little look at the midfield, I think perhaps the surprising thing for most people when you instantly look at that will be the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is on the bench. Do you think it's a case of perhaps he's having a little rest? I mean, we know how much football he's played. Or do you think tactically there is something Pep's done specifically for this game with perhaps bringing Bernardo Silva in?
Yeah, I think my initial thoughts when I seen the team sheet was probably a tactical reason. I think for me, Kevin De Bruyne has been our best player for a number of years, and what he brings to the team and his link up with Haaland, as you see, is out this world. And I think for me, that is probably a worry that City are not going to have that kind of partnership that he has with Haaland. But I think you're bringing in a player like Bernardo Silva who, like Michael said, he's got great legs and he can get up and down the pitch and he can be tenacious and he can get involved in the battle and he can track back if he needs to. So it'll be quite interesting to see how him and Rodri play. And like Michael said, in terms of does Rico Lewis come in and join them to help overload attacking? And yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
What do you make of Kevin De Bruyne being on the bench today, Joleon? What would be your kind of tactical analysis?
It'd be something related to performance as well. He hasn't been the dominant force we know him for this season. But in regards to Bernardo Silva, I think he's probably the most capable at playing all the positions. I think if you're looking at a 10/8, Kevin De Bruyne's probably the man. But in terms of operating as a 6 or pivot, then an 8, then a 10 in all them areas, I think Bernardo is probably the most equipped because he receives the ball, he can travel with the ball as good as anyone else. He probably doesn't have the range of passing that Kevin De Bruyne has, but in regards to the way Pep sees the game going, he may feel this may be a transition where someone needs to be in tight spaces, receive it tightly and get out and dribble and drive. So if that's the case, Bernardo Silva's probably the best to do that.
Of course, Rodri starts, as he always does, the incredible Rodri.
Yeah.
He continues to just be one of our best players for me. Seems to go under the radar a bit. I mean, his stats for this season... Last season, I just thought he was absolutely phenomenal. He could have been player of the season last season. And his stats this year are getting to that sort of same level of tackles, block shots, interceptions, clearances, recoveries, duels. He's just... Steph, I just think he's incredible.
I mean, I agree. I think from a centre-half point of view, having someone like him in front of you in terms of defensively, I feel as though that's where his game's really improved this season, is like his reading of the game, his ability to win the ball back and start attacks again. And we all know what he's like with the ball in terms of the assists that he can make, but also just getting players out to go and attack and get crosses in the box. But I think for me, like, his awareness of where spaces are, his awareness of where other opposition are, he's definitely took that up to another level. And I agree in terms of his performances this season have been outstanding. And I think there's been a lot spoken about Phillips and whether he could maybe compete for that position. But at this moment in time, I think in the Premier League, there's no one better than Rodri in that number 6.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just... he's just so solid in that position. How pivotal do you think he is, Joleon, in terms of the way that we play?
Oh, it's hugely pivotal because not only does he prevent stuff, he's passing. He doesn't just make tackles for the sake of it and he gets a cheer from the crowd because it's gone out for a throw. It's like, oh, we'll keep possession out of this interception or this challenge. But in regards to his intelligence, like there's so many different ways you can probably play that position. We see the tough tackling ones, but we see him just kind of dictate where the balls has to go because his positioning sense is so good. Like Steph said, he's someone that you'd want to have in front of you. Because again, he's just reading of the game and his understanding of where he should be. He's always available, regardless of who's in possession. He kind of sees the lines between to stand and say, I can receive it here. So there's nothing he can't do. And like Steph said, he's arguably the best at that role, especially the way we play. I know there's been a lot of talk of Casemiro and Partey for obviously Arsenal and United, but for me, Rodri's the benchmark in that position.
Yeah, whenever he gets the ball, I just feel calm and safe.
I think he looks calm and safe, though. I think, and again, he doesn't risk the ball. You see his range of passing in the opposition half because he knows then there's obviously more risk to take, but the risk to reward ratio is better for him there. Where when he's in our half, it's so safe. It's like so reliable, which again is to have the understanding because for me, there's a different type of player that is comfortable in the opposition half to their own half, and he's probably as comfortable as Kevin De Bruyne is in the final third, as in our defensive third, which is a unique trait to have.
We've mentioned, we've talked about the defence, we've talked about Rico Lewis, and we've mentioned the idea of perhaps playing the back three, and we've seen in the previous games the way Rico Lewis moves up and moves into almost in line with Rodri kind of in that midfield. How difficult is that, Steph? First of all, for any player, but then for an 18-year-old? Or is it just a case, because obviously you've been here for a while as well, you'll have seen the progression, the development. Is that just normal for him, just normal for the way that he's been brought up here?
I think as well as the way that football has gone over the last few years, I think we're always trying to find out different advantages, and I think a lot of teams do play a 4-3-3 system, and I think sometimes you end up cancelling each other out. So I know that Guardiola is probably always the first person to kind of try something new and to put that extra player into midfield. And within the academy, we see our boys' teams do it quite a lot. I think we tend to do it against certain teams. Bring our full back in, whether that's the right or the left back, just to try and create an extra pass rather than just going straight to the wingers. And it obviously has worked. And with Rico, the way that he's been brought up in the Man City academy, his knowledge is there. He's obviously learnt a lot, and by all accounts, he's a really smart lad in terms of he loves his football, he loves to watch football, and technically you can see on the pitch that he just loves the ball at his feet, and you can kind of see that in his performance. So Pep obviously trusts him, and long may it continue.
Now, as you can see, Steph,
wow.
we've just brought the lights down in the studio. You were talking about intelligent, knowledgeable players. Well, we believe that you are an intelligent, knowledgeable player.
Oh, God.
And we'd like to play a quick game of Mastermind with you.
Wow.
Do you like this, Joey?
I like this.
Yeah, you're just watching as well, so you'll like it even
So
more.
you can't help us, no?
This is just for you, Steph. We've just got 5 questions for you to see how you do.
5, yeah.
Just the 5.
Okay,
some of them
You've got 3
about
seconds to answer them.
Yes.
All of them.
You just sit and enjoy, Joleon. You're under no pressure here whatsoever. OK, are you ready to play our
I think so.
Manchester City Mastermind?
Come on then. Yeah, let's go.
Question 1. According to Google, how tall are you?
173 centimetres.
172. Oh, do you know what? 2. I didn't give you multiple choice, so it was.
Oh. So I got that right then, yeah?
So your answers were 162, 172 or 182, so you would have got that. 172.
Yeah,
OK, question number 2.
Well, it's close to 173.
Do you want to be the question asker?
No, I don't. Even that alone, that question asker. No, I don't.
Question 2. How many England caps do you have? 110, 120, 130?
It's actually 121, but I'll go 120.
120, yes. Yeah. That's what we've got off Wikipedia, probably.
Yeah,
wow, Joleon is not impressed with our game whatsoever.
Oh, wait, Daryl.
That's 2 out of 2, yeah?
Yeah. You're on 2 out of 2. Question 3. You stood alongside Pep when he was revealed on stage here at the CFA in 2016. But can you remember who was stood to your right-hand side? Ooh, apparently there's a picture in the stairwell that you walk past quite often.
Oh, God.
And I don't have any
Multiple choice.
options for you this time.
Is there no multiple choice?
No.
For this time, sorry.
Changed it around this time.
Yeah. It was an academy prospect at the time.
Tosin.
It was Tosin. 3 out of 3. Okay, question 4. How many sides are on the rows of the Man City badge? Is it 4, 5 or 6?
4.
It is 5.
Oh.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it is. It's 5. Okay, and then the last question. Joleon is a graduate of which youth academy? No helping.
We spoke about them earlier.
What are you trying to help for?
Wolves.
The answer is Wolves. So well done. Steph Houghton got 4 out of 5.
I'll take that, yeah.
4 out of 5.
Julian, there were
That's a
right
pretty-
answers.
Oh, do you know what? Do you want a bonus one? Bonus point if you can guess what year Joleon made his senior debut.
Oh, wow. It's a long time ago.
Do you know that one?
That could be really offensive for you, couldn't it?
Oh, wow. We looked similar ages on that screen.
Oh, God.
It's a long time.
Is it, yeah?
I don't even know it, to be fair.
I don't either. I've not got the answer. I was hoping you would tell me.
Oh, you don't know, Joleon?
Well, I would have finished school in, I think I do know, yeah.
Okay. Are you having a guess, Steph? And then
Go
we'll
on.
check with...
It's a long time ago.
Steph doesn't want to say.
I don't want to say.
It's not that long, Steph. It's not that long. Be polite when you guess.
1990.
I'm 40.
I was trying to work that out.
Oh, wow.
2000.
This is brilliant.
I haven't got
Yeah,
a
you said
clue.
2000.
Yeah.
Was it 2000?
It might have been 99.
2000. You were 17.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Impressive.
There you
17.
go. Well done. Thank you for playing our
Thank you.
Mastermind
Thank you.
game. 4 out of 5. Oh, now we've got a couple of quick... This is not Mastermind, just a couple of quick fire questions for you.
Go on.
Just that while you're here, we want to just get some, real good goss
Dirt.
out of you.
Some dirt.
gosh, yeah.
Some dirt.
Go on,
Okay,
then.
so quick fire questions. First name that comes to your mind.
Ooh.
Your funniest teammate.
Chloe.
Most skillful player in the team.
I'm going to say Hempel.
Worst in training.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There's a few.
Kiara Keaton, keeper.
Best in training.
I'm going to say Julie Backstead.
Who's the manager's pet?
Esme Morgan.
Is she? Yeah. Love Esme on this show. Who's the most likely to become a manager?
I would have said Vicky Lasada, but she's just left. I'm going to say...
You?
Potentially, yeah. I'll say me, maybe.
Best fashion sense?
I'm going to say Alex Greenwood.
Worst fashion sense?
Ooh,
There's a few, God.
yeah.
Can I say more than one?
Yes, say as many as you want.
I'll say Sandy McIver and I'll say Esme.
Oh! And your toughest player that you've ever played against?
For City or in...
Any.
Probably a forward called Christine Sinclair, who used to play for Canada. She's an absolute legend. I think she scored over 100 goals for her country. But yeah, she could just do everything. She was quick, she was powerful, she was good in the air.
Yeah.
And she could link up with players. So I think for a centre-half, you kind of want to work out what they're not so good at and try and beat them in that. But when you get someone like her that can score goals as well, it was tough.
And the last question, the best player you've ever played with?
Kelly Smith.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh, the lights are back up.
Back now.
Oh, I liked that. Made it a bit serious.
Yeah, it was good. I felt a bit under
You're
pressure.
better at presenting that questions.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for that, Joleon.
And the answers. It would help if you had the right answers.
Thanks for the support there, Joleon.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you supporting
Just
the show
blame Daryl.
this way.
Just blame Daryl. And Callum as well. Callum can get a shout out. Callum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, we appreciate Joleon Lescott's support of our game there. We also appreciate your support with the work that you do with City in the community and all of the amazing charity work that we do around the world, because we're lucky that you're here today because you've been in Ghana all week, haven't you, with Citizens Giving?
Yeah, got back yesterday. Went Monday morning. Same time zone, so no jet lag. Just tired.
Nice.
Yeah. But I was over there with obviously the club and Xylem and the fan base there. 4 of these guys, they're part of South Ghana's fan club, so they volunteered to come and help out. And it's not like when I'm saying volunteer to come from where we were, they like travelled hours to come, and we helped build some water towers in unprivileged areas and communities, which was a very humbling experience and privilege to be a part of, to be fair, because it's things that we take for granted was like a real reality check and eye-opener, because this guy, Franklin, is one of the community workers there and helps obviously support one of these communities. But yeah, like I said, it was a real humbling experience, because before this tower was built, this was the school that they were in. I think on average it was 3 kilometres there to get clean water. And obviously there's only so much you can carry. So it was like 3 there, 3 back, and they're like, I swear to God, I think I witnessed a girl wash her hands for the first time, which was like, I had no clue that would be a thing, and she was probably 5 years old. But what the work these guys are doing with Xylem and Planet Water is remarkable.
Yes, I know. I've heard of a Citizens Giving programme before that was about educating children on how to wash their hands, which is just phenomenal. I mean, the Citizens Giving do some incredible projects. So this one was to help bring clean water access and vital water education to young people in local communities. What did it mean to you to have the opportunity to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, it was something that I wanted to be a part of. I worked with Xylem before, and the opportunity was there pre-COVID, but then things happened and COVID shut down everything, didn't it? And then this opportunity come. And obviously I'd been lucky enough to work with the club and go to so many places I've never been. And it wasn't just a case of, you're going to Ghana. It was like, but we're going to do this. And I was like, as long as I'm actually...
Did you actually do it?
That was the stipulation. I said, I want to work. I don't want to go there and just be a photo op and kind of just be there present but not actually involved in the process. But yeah, no, there was some real graft.
What were you good at? What did you find that you were particularly good at?
Patience is the key, because we built one, and then when we go the next day, everyone's like, oh yeah, we don't need the instructions anymore, and wants to rush it, and what we did in 5 hours, can we do it in 3? I'm like, let's take the 5. Like, it might look great that we finished half an hour early. So we did the second one, and a couple of them was rushing and got things wrong, but it was such an amazing experience, remarkable.
So the towers contain water filtration systems which help provide for the daily drinking needs of 1,800 people and reduce the burden, as you mentioned, of collecting the water and counter waterborne diseases, which obviously they aim to help kids be healthier and get to keep them in school as well. So a trip you'll remember?
Oh, definitely. And I was lucky enough to get plaques, so in the communities they give me plaques that are actually permanently be in the communities. And I said, I've volunteered to be with some of us to be a part of it, but that's what some people have dedicated their lives to do, so they deserve way more credit than I got.
So the project forms part of Xylem Water Heroes Academy, a unique collaboration between Xylem and Citizens Giving, empowering young leaders in 10 cities around the world to solve local water challenges using the power of football. What an incredible trip. Right, let's see if we can get a couple of your WhatsApp questions that you've been sending in. We're only about 10 minutes away from kickoff, so let's go quickly. OK, hi, can Steph say hi to Neve and Edie Ormond? You are their hero.
Hi.
It's a nice, easy one to start with. OK, Pete said, question for Steph. What are your favourite goals for City and England?
For City, I'm trying to think now. Important goals. I think one of my favourite ever goals was against Notts County in our second season. And it was like our first win of the season, and it was last minute, and you know, when you never expect to score, and it was a free kick, and it wasn't even one of my best free kicks, but to be able to score and get us to 3 points, I think that 3 points was so important for us to qualify for Champions League, so I'd probably have to say that one. And England, probably my free kick against Cameroon.
You got a catalogue of free kicks, you're doing all right, Steph.
In the World Cup, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's your favourite World Cup free kick, Joleon?
It's Euros. Mine's the Euro header. Not a free kick. No way. They would never. Yeah, would never ever try and take a free kick, me.
I love that. OK, we've got a question from Mark. Mark, I can't believe you're making me ask this question. I'm not going to judge this one. Afternoon all, quick one. Who out of Steph or Joleon was the better footballing centre-half?
Oof.
don't know who.
If you're taking free kicks, you're all right.
Who decides that?
Yeah, I think the free kicks catalogue decides that, so we'll go with Steph.
Better than me.
I think we'll agree, Mark, that they were both pretty decent. Both are pretty decent. OK, Roger says, Steph, we've missed you. How are you feeling to be playing again?
Yeah, I think for me, I think obviously the perception is that I've been injured this whole season, but to be honest, I've been fit from pre-season and I've just tried to get myself back into the team. So I've been ready and available and haven't been able to play the games that I've wanted to play, and it's frustrating, and we have such a good squad. So to be able to play yesterday, and hopefully now I can kind of get myself back into the starting 11 as much as possible. But I think as you get a little bit older and a bit more experience, you realise you have to probably play a little bit of a different role, and that's been certainly the case this season. But for me, as long as I'm playing for Manchester City, that's what makes us happy, and I'll give my all for the club every day.
Does Gareth rotate like Pep, or not as much?
Not as much, I think, because obviously we didn't start the season so well, so it was kind of like, let's just get a run of form. And I think sometimes maybe when we have cup games, I've played a lot of the cup games, so then it gives people a bit of a rest for the league games. So, but no, I mean, the competition, the squad's really good, which is what this club needs, and to bring the best out of people. And it certainly has done that for me this season. I think it makes you that little bit mentally stronger. And yeah, I think it's just, you got to kind of put that leadership hat on and just kind of just lead by example.
Thank you. Thank you, as always, for your questions. Do keep them coming in, and we'll see if we have time at half-time and full-time. So we are only about 7 minutes away. This show always goes so fast. About 7 minutes away from kick-off, 4:30 kick-off against Spurs. We haven't had a chance to talk about the attack yet. We've done the defence, we've done the midfield in detail. We've got about 2 minutes left, Joleon, so I'm just going to ask you to speedily tell me your thoughts on our attack. Can you do that very quickly?
Yeah, you'd probably say Jack and Riyad, probably the form of the season in regards to how consistent they've been and how dominant they've been. But they look like they're playing with a smile as well, which is always good. And that's what you need from forwards. Not so much defenders, but in regards to forwards, you want them to be enjoying the ball, and because they get on it a lot. So excited for them. But Haaland, we've seen what the last attributes like. He doesn't have to be involved all the time. But like Harry Kane, if he gets a chance, it tends to go in.
Yeah, Mahrez is having the most phenomenal season as well. And did you know that he's been involved in more Premier League goals against Spurs than he has any other opponent? So with that record for Mahrez, with Haaland's general season, we're going to break this scoring
We are today, yes, definitely, 100%.
We have to. And there he is. What a phenomenon. How much have you enjoyed watching him play this season, Steph?
He has been unreal,
Yeah.
I think you always have an expectation of someone, but I think for him to come in and do what he's done and just start off like he has in the Premier League is a credit to him. I know how hard he must work, and I think just to get that relationship with his other teammates has been unbelievable as well. And I think for me, every game he plays, he surprises with just something different. So I'm excited to see him play against Tottenham, because it's always a good game against them.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Joleon Alvarez, of course, again, see how they can start building up this relationship even further. So really exciting attacking team for us today. Could I get a prediction from you both, please, Joleon?
Oh, I'm going to go 3-2 City.
Ooh.
These score, don't they? These score goals, these teams. And
don't do that to me.
Well, I would have said 2-0 2-0 at half-time in the last game. He would have been like, it's over. You said it was over. You thought it was over.
No, I didn't.
I've seen you and you said no. It's done.
I didn't.
It's done.
I did not.
Don't lie.
I've got a video of me saying that opposite.
You liar.
Steph?
I'm going to go 2-1 City.
2-1 City.
Yeah.
OK, thank you. Thank you both so much for joining us. And we will, of course, be back at half-time to talk about, hopefully, an excellent 45 minutes for City. Get your commentary on the app with Alistair Mann and Michael Brown, and then you can join us again at half-time. So enjoy the game, and let's hope that that man there can break this horrible non-scoring statistic at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So enjoy your commentary now with Alistair Mann, and we'll see you at half-time.
Welcome to the Tottenham Stadium. It is without doubt one of the best stadiums you'll find anywhere in Europe. The facilities are absolutely stunning. The stand behind the goal to the right-hand side is one of the biggest you'll see anywhere for an all-seater stand. It is just the most imposing of stadia, and you have to say that the facilities are second to none. There's a tunnel club just like at the Etihad Stadium.